So if you're ready to warm up, we got 1 minute. And start with arm circles. Up, big circles. We're going to be doing a mixture of upper and lower body together. So as you get stronger, if you repeat this workout, you can always increase your weight over time. That way you get stronger. Go the other way. To really warm up that shoulder joint, you'll be using it a lot. All right, and then take your feet about hip width apart and then hinge and back. We'll be in a hinge position through a lot of these movements. So you want to make sure you get the glutes and the hamstrings and your low back warmed up. And come down into a squat, just reach forward, sit back. Think about keeping your shoulders back and down. You can always have your hands on your thighs. We're almost there. And one more, hands on your thighs, round, release your back. Now, of course, check out this warm-up up here. If you need a longer warm-up than this, that is totally fine. And good, bring it up. Okay, so first exercise is a front squat. You'll get 2 dumbbells and you'll hold them here in front of your shoulders. So I'm gonna grab my weights. Make sure when you're bending down to pick up your weights, you're careful, keeping your abs engaged and not rounding through the spine. Now, if it's not comfortable for you to hold the weights here, feel free to hold them by your side. Okay, so take your time. We have 1 minute, feet hip width or wider, turn it out, touch, and go. Really sit back and up. So you really can think about focusing on your depth on this squat. Think about the knees not caving in, pressing outward, sitting back and down. So remember, if it's too much, having this weight here, have it here. It's a little bit easier on the lower back. Here is a little harder on the core. So if you want a little more core challenge, you could go here. You can even vary it. Shoulders back. One of the things I see often is lowering the chest. So try to stay up, sit back, driving into those heels. Good, you have about 10 seconds. Overall warm up for the lower body. Almost there. And down. Okay, now we're going to go to a split squat hold with a bicep curl. So grab a lighter weight. So I'm going to start with my right leg forward. I'll face you. Make sure you're on a non-slip surface. And you're going to come down and hold and bicep curl. All right, are you ready? And go. So keeping your elbows by your side, try to get as close to 90-90 with those legs as you can. Watch this knee, make sure it's not caving inward. You're just holding that lunge. Now, of course, if you need to modify, lunge is not as deep, or you can get it even deeper and make it a little more challenging. So see what I did, how I kind of wobbled? It was because I brought my feet too narrow. So you want a wide base of support. You always hear like railroad tracks, not a monorail, right? Drive into that front heel. You want to make sure that knee isn't traveling forward over the toe so that you're lifting the heel. Really squeeze those biceps. So we'll be taking pretty short rests, but feel free to pause, take longer rest if you need to, so that you can really focus on your form and not just your heart rate. Remember, it's not always about calorie burn and heart rate. Come up and switch sides. Okay. Get ready. How are you doing? Are you getting warmed up? I would think by now. And come down. Find that stance. Remember, that challenges you. Dig this heel in and go. Bicep. You can even do palms up, varying the angle at which you work those biceps. So make sure that you're keeping more of the weight on the front leg than the back. You're not shifting back into that back leg. Get the arms all the way down, full range of motion. Try to stay down in that lunge. Remember, if you need to come out of it and then go back in, feel free. Working the core as well. You look good. Got about 20 seconds. Squeeze up. Squeeze up. I'm going to go deeper. Sometimes you start to creep up without realizing it. Don't be a creeper. 10 seconds. Remember to increase your weight over time. That's how you get stronger and come up. Okay, so you know those rides that look like a pirate ship that are going back and forth? At Six Flags here, it's called the Conquistador. I think they've changed it by now. Swinging side to side. Make sure you're using control and not momentum. Ready? Go. Up, over. So you could have one weight held between both hands. You're controlling that. You're not using momentum. I'm bringing the legs with me. So I'm not static in the legs. I'm working the shoulders, little pause at the top, little upper chest, core, hips. Hips are part of your core muscles. The little pause. If you're swinging back and forth, you're using more momentum. That's not what we want here. Nothing wrong with momentum if that's what you're training for, but that's not what we're working on. So turn your body with the weights. How are you feeling? You might feel those biceps now after you work them. Almost there. And time. Okay, now you have a hip hinge to an upright row on one arm. So I'm going to go heavier. I'm going to choose one weight in my right hand. We're going to switch after 1 minute. So you're going to hinge forward and then pull up. Hinge forward, flat back, up. So this one you do want to use a little bit of power up. Make sure it's in your glutes, okay? And keeping your abs tight. Ready? Hinge, pull, hinge, pull. So drive through the legs. Now you want to get that elbow level with your shoulder. You don't need to get it way up here. Pull. See how I'm kind of popping down into my heels? Flat back. Let those hips travel back and squeeze the glutes as you come up. Now your hand can be out here. It can be back. It can even be on your thigh if you need support. Squeeze up. You can go faster if you want. Just make sure you're using control. Abs tight. I wonder how many times a day I say that. Probably a lot. I just need a shirt that says that. How about that? Abs tight. Go to the grocery store and people are always asking me about it. That would be annoying. Up. One more. Rest. Okay, we got the other side. Remember, we're going to be hinging and then upright. So see how my hand is lower than my elbow? Rest, let your heart rate come down. Remember, you're going to perform better when your heart rate isn't pumping. You need those rests in between. And 3, 2, fix your hair, and go. Hinge, drive up. Squeeze up. So depending on your strength, your flexibility, you could be going deeper in the hinge. Just don't sacrifice rounding your back to do it. Put your butt back and then squeeze up. You're not arching the back, you're going to neutral spine, okay? 30 seconds. Oh, there goes the bangs. Growing out your bangs is like the worst thing. I used to have really short hair, and growing that out was a freaking nightmare. It took like 2 years. And every 3 or 4 months, you're like, God, I should just cut it again. But you gotta push through. You gotta push through. Almost there. I know. I got no problems. Rest. Okay, now we have a hinge row. So you may want to go heavier on this one. You're going to have both weights, arms up, one arm goes down, other arm goes down. Okay, so I'm going to do my heavier weight. So you want to hold that hinge. So remember to keep those knees slightly bent or more bent if you're very tight in the hamstrings. Feet inside hip width to give you room to move. Take the arms up and take one arm down, other arm down. Now, if this is too much for you, you can always reciprocate like that. It's my big word for the day. You want to make sure that back is nice and flat. Knees are bent. Squeezing those shoulder blades together, abs in. That's a lot, right? So oftentimes I see sacrificing form by rounding or straightening. So soften those knees. That'll really help. It's going to be easier on your lower back because there's less tension on the hamstrings that way. Pull back. It's always good to balance out those push and pull muscles, right? So important. 10 seconds. How you doing? 3, 2, 1. Okay, now we have a plank row. So you're going to want to go lighter. You're going to come down to the floor. Here's where we're going to start using our mat. Now, modified plank, you can be here. You're going to pull back and back. Full plank here. Okay, try to keep those hips stable and not let them go side to side. It may happen, but really try to stabilize. Ready? Go. Pull and down. Now, if you don't like having your hands on weights as you work out, that is totally fine. You can have one hand down, put it on the inside, switch. So remember, you can always go to this modified. You're going to have to pull back at an angle because your range of motion, it gets a little shorter in that position. Lift out of the shoulder. Don't sink into the shoulder. This is definitely core. You'll flex those quads. Take your time. There's no rush here. Remember, we're focused on strength. Your heart rate's up, but this is not a cardio focus. I know I'm giving you shorter rests, so it's going to feel cardio. 10 seconds. So I'm looking at you. That's why I'm turning. Time. Okay, so now we're going to be in a push-up. You can have your hands on the dumbbells. Keeps the wrist neutral if you prefer not to. That's fine too. So I'm going to stay on my knees. Turn my thumb slightly in. If you are not on anything, the dumbbells are round, or your flooring isn't stable, I would not prop your hands on there. Sometimes I like it just to mix it up. And go. Down. Up. Now you want your hands about level with your chest. You don't want them in front of you. I like to put my hands on an angle. Less tempted to do this. You don't want your elbows flared out like this. You want it down. Think of your head, top of an arrow, and your elbows, the bottom of that arrow. Your body is the rest of the arrow, right? So, like that. Keep the abs engaged. A push-up is a core exercise as well as chest and shoulders. Of course, if you need to modify this, you can take it in a little bit, but I still want you to try to get all the way down. Work on that fuller range of motion so you can get stronger over time. And time. Okay, so we're gonna take the weights out of the way. You're gonna lay face down, little back extensions. And we wanna balance out the front and the back. Chin down, lift up, and reach. Okay? So you can keep the feet down. If you wanna add to this and make it more challenging, you can lift and lower. Ready? And you can do one arm at a time as well. Pull back. So I'm going to be looking at you because otherwise it's going to sound really funny with my mic. But you can always do one arm, other arm. But do think about getting that back extension in there, working that lower back. Remember, tension is one thing. Pain is a no-go. You don't want to feel pain. Pull those elbows in. It's like a lat pull, although we don't have tension from here. It's from the ground, so it's not really the same thing, but we're actively squeezing in. Now you could even do this motion here. If this bothers your low back at all, work up to that. Lower back is definitely something to work on strengthening. Time. Okay, flip over onto your back. All right, we're almost done, people. People. I don't know why I just called you people. Peeps. I like to embarrass my son. Okay, so we have a single leg glute bridge. I like glute bridges because they really help with the low back. And go. Now, I'm going to put my hands here because I've got a bun in my hair and this mic pack drive down in the heel. If this is too much, both legs, squeeze. Now, you don't want to feel just quadriceps. So if your feet are too close, you're going to feel a lot of quadricep. So if you take it out, you're going to get a little more hamstring. You can even put it here, right? Straight up is going to be harder. Driving down into this heel. Okay, so we got 1 minute on this leg. You could even have weights across your lap if you like, especially if this has gotten too easy for you. Remember, you don't want to, your body adapts to what you do. So you always want to think about getting stronger over time, because as we age, the first thing we start to lose is muscle every year. That's why a lot of people think that their metabolism slows down. It doesn't slow down because of your age. It slows down because of muscle loss. Rest, we're going to go to the other side because most people become sedentary, especially as they get older. I know I'm more sedentary than I was in my 30s and even my 40s. I had more an active job on top of my fitness classes. Even with a standing desk. I mean, standing's great, but okay, you ready for the other side? Remember, you got your options and waiting for the bing. Bing. Okay, go. Because you can't trust me with timing things. Notice if you have one side that is more challenging for you than the other side, totally normal. We all have a stronger side and a weaker side. If there is a big difference between the sides, that's really something you should address, because then your body tries to compensate for that. So you want to get them close. You'll never be identical on both sides. Our bodies are naturally not symmetrical, right? Think of like the heart is to the left. You have some organs over here, some over here. And naturally our bodies are not perfectly symmetrical, but you don't want there to be a big difference. Drive down into that heel. You should definitely feel the glute, some hamstring, some quad, maybe a little bit of low back. It shouldn't be painful, should never be painful. Almost there. And time. Okay, last exercise. So bring yourself up. We're gonna grab those weights. How's my hair? You can tell I just don't care. Okay, so we're gonna bring it up, back, up, close to your rib cage. So it's a close grip press to a pullover. And you can turn those thumbs in on the pullover. I like to, just a matter of preference, and go. So press up. I like to turn my thumbs in, bring it back, take it down, up. If it feels like it's too much on the shoulder doing that pullover, don't go as far back. You got to listen to the shoulders on this. Really good for stretching through the rotator cuff. You're working the lats, the chest, the serratus muscle. That's the muscles that are on the rib cage. You're also working shoulders and triceps. This is the last exercise. I know, I'm sad too. I try to keep these short, so if you like to mix and match workouts, you can. Yeah, down. Now, am I the only one? I am an introvert. I know I talk a lot, but I'm an introvert. So when I go to the store, if you see me and I avoid you, I'm hiding behind grocery aisles. No, it's not because I don't like you. Take it down. All right, bring yourself up. I love it when people say, oh, I've never seen you in clothes before. I don't know why they have to say it like that. Okay, put one leg in front of the other. Quick stretch out. Oh, my hair is crazy. I shouldn't have looked in the mirror. up and over. You know what's great about being 53? I just don't care. I don't care. Life is too short to worry about how I look all the time. Bring it up and around. It's so freeing to, I want to look my best, but I don't worry about it like I did in my 20s and 30s where I was so concerned about how others saw me. I am what I am. I sound like Popeye, don't I? Okay, over to the side. Up and twist. Now, I hope you feel good. Let me know if you enjoyed it. Let me know if you have suggestions for workouts in the future. If you like this workout, consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. Leave a comment and say hi, and I'll see you next time. Bye.